Well, let's bring in Mark Tepper, CEO of Strategic Wealth Partners. Mark, you heard those comments, and John Williams is pretty important. He's the only permanent voting member of the FOMC presidents of regional banks. So do you think what he said is true? Do we have a situation where we have to wait a lot longer to see data before the Fed does anything else?
I agree with him. I think the Fed's on pause right now. They continue to reiterate that word patient. They've removed the language that says they expect further gradual increases. So, yeah, I think they're on pause right now. You know, heading into this year, the Fed and trade were the two biggest obstacles that were really holding the stock market back. And if you remove them both, the market's going to rally. So I do think the Fed's on pause right now. And really the biggest thing that we're watching right now is whether or not there's going to be a trade resolution that's positive.
All right, so you can argue that the sharp upturn we've seen in markets has been because of a softer tone from the Fed and because of more optimism from trade. So have we gone maybe a little too far too fast at this stage? The market has really had a staggering move higher ever since Christmas Eve.
I don't think so, because we're still roughly 5% from hitting those all-time highs. And if you look back to what happened in the fourth quarter of last year, I mean, it was just, it was awful. It was a bloodbath. I mean, Powell essentially botched his speech in October, botched it in December, and that's what caused the huge sell-off. So I think now that Powell and the Fed have really reversed their course a little bit, and they definitely have gone much more dovish in January, you know, I think things look good for the market, and I don't think we've come too far too fast. I think the forward multiple on the market looks really attractive right now. And I personally think we're still at least a year and a half away from a recession. And typically, in the 13 to 24 months prior to a recession, the S&P generates annualized returns of 14%. So, you know, I think we're well within the realm of normalcy right now.
All right, so you are constructive, that's fair to say. Are there places, though, within the market that you feel more strongly about, whether it be places that you think that are worth investing in at current levels or places that you would stay away from?
Yeah, so, you know, successful investing it's not about winning 100% of the time. It's really about tilting the odds in your favor. That's what gives you an edge. And one of the first steps towards gaining that edge is to identify those big mega trends or secular investment themes that are really going to drive growth over the next 5 to 10 years. If you can get those mega trends right, if you can identify the companies that are going to be the leaders, you're going to be happy with your performance. So, you know, one of the big mega trends as we see it is we've got this aging population that's really concerned about having a good quality of life. People are living longer, they want to have a good quality of life, so health and wellness are important. And the two biggest roadblocks to that right now are the cancer and diabetes epidemics that we're facing as a nation. So if you can identify the companies that are really the leaders in treating and managing those, you're going to be tilting the odds in your favor. So a lot of the pharmaceutical companies, some of the medical device companies that are really helping in the war against cancer and diabetes are good places to be looking at this point.
All right, and before we let you go, Mark, as we kind of point ahead towards those big Fed minutes, is there anything that you could see coming out of those minutes that might change your thinking, whether it be more towards the bullish or bearish side?
I'm expecting the Fed to stay patient and really not to change their tone at all. However, one thing that could really drive the market up is if they begin to talk about potentially cutting. I mean, we heard Janet Yellen talk about it not too long ago, where she did mention that the Fed's next move could actually be a cut. So if we hear anything along those lines, you're going to see the market rally.
All right, Mark Tepper, thank you so much for those thoughts on the market this morning. We appreciate it.